All right, you guys, welcome back to the Listing Agent Show. Today, I've got Davis from Vulcan 7. We're going to get into some more nuts and bolts on how the Vulcan 7 system can help your prospecting lead generation activities in 2022 and beyond. So, Davis, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, thanks.
Appreciate you being here. We're going to get into some technical things that can help our audience with their follow-up efforts specifically. So, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of lead follow-up, and then we'll get into the new feature inside Vulcan 7 and how users can start to use this new feature. So before we really jump into that, I think it's important for people that are watching this to really understand the importance of lead follow-up. And Davis, the advice that I give when I'm coaching agents is, like, if you don't have a lead follow-up system, you might as well not even prospect at all. I mean, that's how important it is, because the studies that have shown, and in my experience, 80 to 90% of listing appointments met, income earned comes through lead follow-up, not the initial contact. And I would imagine that's what you guys find on the Vulcan 7 system as well.
Yeah, consistency is the key. Having an organized method to reach out. And I said this last time I was on, but if you're not organized, when you come in the morning, you don't know who you need to call, right? You're just wasting time. So
exactly right.
Being organized is key.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest keys that agents struggle with when it comes to lead follow-up is exactly your point, is like having a system, being organized. And I think that's why you and I are both so excited to share the feature that Vulcan 7 just released. When did you guys release the new feature we're going to show?
It's been about 2 weeks now, something like that. Yeah.
Awesome. So let me frame this up. Let me give like when somebody would want to use this feature, and then you could share your screen. We can kind of give them a little demo. So okay. What Davis is about to show is one of the challenges as you're prospecting, whether you're in a dial setting and you're making outbound dials. You hang up with the prospect, you and the prospect think it's a good idea for you guys to talk again at some point in the future. That's when things get a little blurry for most real estate agents. It's like, what do I do with this lead? Do I put it into my CRM? Do I fill out a lead sheet? How do I know when I'm going to follow up with the person again? Do I put it into my calendar? Well, Vulcan 7, as of 2 weeks ago, now has a feature that allows you to, while you're in the dial session, correct?
Yep.
Select a specific date to follow up with that prospect, and the Vulcan 7 system then will tell you when to follow up with the lead without even thinking about it. Is that correct?
Yep, that's basically it. And this is best for situations where you haven't set a appointment with them, right? It's not a specific set appointment. This is for, you need to do some general following up. You know, they're in your nurture maybe, or your warm leads type situation, right?
That's exactly right. And so furthermore, like, to give you guys more context, this would be ideal for sale by owners and expired listings that you put into your warm lead follow-up folder that Davis and I talked about 2 weeks ago on the show. This is what we're talking about, where, to Davis's point, you haven't set an appointment yet. It's going to require you to have more conversation to kind of warm that lead up to the point where the prospect's ready to meet. And you have to have a system in your business to follow up with these prospects consistently. This new feature inside Vulcan 7 will allow you to do just that. So Davis, if you want to share your screen and then we can show the audience what this looks like, that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah. So at the core, how this works, I'm currently in a dial session, right? I have this fake contact up here. How the feature works is you'll see next to a call. So first, let me take a step back. At the bottom of the dial session, we have what we call these call outcome buttons, and you can customize these. I'll show you more in a minute how you can do this. But basically, you're just assigning and saying, you know, giving it a specific maybe disposition or a status of this is what happened on the call. And you'll notice there's a new option you have as a follow-up option, where next to this button, I can pull up this calendar and I can choose, okay, I'm supposed to follow up with this contact, you know, on the 13th, let's say. When I disposition it, it moves me on to the next potential number or contact. But in the background, it dated that for me. And then I can show you here in a minute how you can find those contacts.
All right. So before we move on, let me give some even more context. So The perfect use for this, you guys, and what I coach every single agent in our coaching program to do is every expired listing, withdrawn, for sale by owner, for rent by owner, absentee owner, any lead source that falls under the category of warm lead, and by definition has the following information. One, the prospect has a clear need to sell. They've told you, yes, we absolutely want to sell our house. Two, they give you a specific time frame that's within the next 30 to 60 days, okay? And three, they are not already committed to another agent. That is how we define in our coaching system a warm lead. Every warm lead in your pipeline needs to get a phone call every single Monday. So now, Davis, what they could do is, as they're making their prospecting phone calls, if they generate a lead that falls into that category, they could just pull up the calendar, hit that next Monday, boom, set it and forget it. So now let's talk about how you go in there and find those leads.
Cool. So let me jump back over here. I'm on our contacts tab right now.
Just because you're in there and I got to show it off a little bit more and I love it, why don't you show them the dashboard? You guys don't have the reverseselling.com dashboard, and you guys want this dashboard, which Vulcan 7, our partners over at Vulcan 7, were so kind enough to build for our coaching clients. You can also get this version where you can get my script book, you can get my audio book, you can get access to our podcast, a bunch of really good training and coaching information. They just can contact Vulcan 7, Davis, and get access to this dashboard, correct?
Yep. Yeah. Just hit this chat bubble at the bottom right and say, hey, you want the reverse selling dashboard, and support will turn it on for you.
Beautiful. All right. That was my little shameless plug. Now we can get back into the training.
But it looks good though. I love like the colors, and
it does look really good.
It looks awesome. So, if I go over here, so first off, we have some quick views. These are new quick views that we created. So we have today's lead follow-up. So anyone that you selected that have a follow-up date of today will show up under this quick view. And you can make additional quick views if you would like. So for that contact that we just called, if I pull up the advanced search and I go to management information here, here's this new follow-up date field. This is what this new follow-up option is controlling. So I think I gave it that contact a date of the 13th, right? So I hit apply, I hit search. So it pulls up that contact that we just called, right? And it did some additional automation as well, as it moved that contact. Before it was in the off market folder, and now it moved it to this lead follow-up folder for me, which you can customize and change, right? Let's say you wanted that to go to actually to your warm leads or something like that. You can have it.
Yes.
You can have it go there instead.
That's amazing. So, and again, this is all happening like in real time. Like they're not having to stop their dial session, figure out a bunch of stuff. Like a few clicks of a button, a couple of things are happening. It's the lead is, and disposition is the right word. We disposition the call with a click of a button, which organizes that lead. It puts it into the right folder first and foremost. Mm-hmm. So my leads are staying organized. And then two, I don't have to like worry about leads falling through the cracks, because through that disposition, the system is then going to tell me, okay, this is when I need to follow up with that lead. Is that right?
Exactly. I call it lead, follow-up worry. My father, exactly. He has a Tesla. He always talks about what's it called? Range anxiety. I feel like follow-up anxiety is real. And we talk to agents all the time that are just worried, where did this lead go? Or what do I do with them now? Where this makes it really simple for you.
So let me ask you this. So in today's follow-up, is that meant to use, because I guess the potential counter argument to this feature is like, well, what if I forget to, like, what's reminding me when I log into Vulcan 7 to even look at this folder in the first place? So is that what that today's lead follow-up is like? So tomorrow, let's just say you've been working for the last 3 months and tomorrow comes. If they just click today's lead follow-up, will those pop up in there? Do you know?
Correct. Yeah. It's going to pull up anyone who has a to date of today and older that you haven't cleared out.
Got it. So the system does do that. So there's the solve for that. Is like the other thing that we coach agents to do is at 11 o'clock daily is we stop new first contact prospecting and we get right into lead follow-up. So at 11 o'clock daily, in addition to what we just talked about, you could just hit this new today's lead follow-up, and anybody that has a date for tomorrow's date is going to be in there automatically. Is that right?
Yep, exactly.
Wow,
Yep.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, makes it super simple.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to talk about just really quick as it relates to follow-up is a little bit about the email capability inside Vulcan 7.
Mm-hmm.
So walk us through like the functionality of like sending an email to the lead, and can you send out a blast email to everybody with the same message and it looks like it just went to everybody individually? Walk us through that really quick if you could.
Okay. First off, before I get into that, just keep in mind, for you to send out like a big blast or set up campaigns, contacts have to be what's considered confirmed contacts, just to hold the integrity of spam issues and the emailing system, right?
Absolutely.
So technically, before you can blast someone emails or do any type of campaign, customers or users have to opt into those things before. So keep that in mind. Sometimes the idea is, hey, I have these off-market properties or listings. I'm just gonna blast them all. Within the guidelines, you technically cannot do that, right?
Yeah. So you're exactly right. So like in this follow-up folder per se, it'd be like all the emails that you got personally from the prospect where they agreed to have you follow up with them. They've agreed to communicate through email. So once that's established, what's the easiest way to send emails out of Vulcan 7?
So first off, you can select certain contacts you just want to email if they have an email address, like there's one here and here, and then you can hit send email. It's really simple. Just draft up your email. One of my records doesn't have an email, looks like. Or you can also choose like a pre-written template that you've created. Yep. Right? That's really easy and simple.
Let me ask you real quick though, in the two, like the prospect that receives the email, will they see everybody else's email address in there or not?
No, correct. No, they won't. Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of like CC carbon copied, or no, blind copied, right?
Blind copied. So all of your warm leads that you've generated through conversations with prospects, you got their personal email address to stay in communication. In addition to making the lead follow-up phone call simple inside Vulcan 7, you could put all of those prospects in that folder in this one email to follow up with them. Because the other thing I want them to do, Davis, is I want them to send this entire group of people in this folder an email every week. Gotcha. And so this would be the easiest way to do it. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. And especially if you're on a phone call conversation with them and they give you the email address, that changes it from that restricted contact before to a confirmed, where you have that relationship with them. So you can now send them email communication, right? They've opted in by doing that.
Yeah. Which is really cool, because here's the thing is like Vulcan 7 is becoming, and it has been, but even more so now, it's becoming almost like a full-fledged CRM in addition with your lead generation platform, all on one platform, which is what we want, which what realtors want. One of the biggest complaints in our industry is that realtors have to have so many different logins for so many different systems. And it looks or appears that like Vulcan 7 is going in the direction where like, this is the only platform that you need. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah. And that's what we're really trying to get at. And if you have enhancement suggestions or ideas, we review those monthly. We talk about them. We review every single enhancement we get. We take this very seriously. We really want to improve things and make things better for, all the users.
Yeah. So why don't that's a good segue. Why don't we end with a really important, lead generation conversation, which is SMS and text messaging, right? Where is what's Vulcan 7's stand on text messaging, or what's coming down the pipeline that you think is important to mention?
Currently we don't have any real plans for texting. It gets really hairy. Yeah. Again, with the opt-in, kind of like we just talked about emailing, it gets hairy on the texting side of things. So it gets brought up every so often.
Yeah, I bet.
If we did do it, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, but also if we didn't end up going down the texting route, I wouldn't be surprised as well.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, and I don't know if you want to keep your screen share on or not, but it is. It's just tough with all the TCPA rules and all that stuff. I can see a world where, you have to click a button to opt into some type of messaging. But it'd be really cool if Vulcan 7 at some point in the future had something like that. So now you got email, phone calling, SMS, text messaging, because you could send, talk about Storyteller really quick and what you can do with that before we end the show today.
Yeah, Storyteller is pretty cool. You can create, quick video content, create templates, and you can send that content out in an email. It just makes creating videos and messaging really simple and easy.
So like a lot of people are using BombBomb, right? And I think BombBomb integrates with Vulcan 7, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. But Storyteller, does that negate the need for BombBomb? Because when you send a Storyteller email out through Vulcan 7, does the video play that that HTML video kind of file, or it's like playing in the person's inbox the same way it does in BombBomb? Do you know?
That's a good question. I think it does, where you're talking about, it shows you kind of like a little GIF or GIF, right?
A GIF. That was what I was. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I believe it does, because it makes you really want to click on it, right?
Right.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it does.
So why don't we do a deep dive on that for next episode?
Cool.
Because I'll play around with it as well. But I think that'd be really cool to show in our next episode of the Listing Agent Show, because that opens up another whole possibility of email marketing that is completely unique, that makes our agents that are using Vulcan 7 stand out, be, amongst the competition, because there's not a lot of agents that are willing to do that,
Yeah.
So let's maybe you and I in 2 weeks, because next week Ren's back on the show, and then you'll be back in 2 weeks. So why don't we plan on doing that for the next episode? But again, I want to thank you for doing these demos. It helps people a lot. And so if you guys have questions, or you're ready to get started with the best lead generation from the seller side specifically, I'll put a link to Vulcan 7 in the description right beneath this video. You can click that link and get started right away. So Davis, thank you so much. Have an awesome week, man. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.